New setup, who dis? You're gonna see a lot of videos of me testing out my new equipment that are in the coming days. I think I've figured it all out. But I did get a new camera, I got lights, I got a microphone. Like, we're living our best life. This is my year, 2023. I said that last year, and last year was my year. But this year is still being pretty awesome, despite the fact that I'm depressed. Anyways. We're doing a 4-month wrap-up because I've only done January and February, so we have to do the rest of these lovely books up until the end of June. So the plan in this video, I'm going to show you the spreads for that month, then we'll go through the books, then we'll do the spread for the next one, and then the next books, and we're going to start in March and go all the way till June, and it will be a good fun time, okay? Let me tell you, my reading this year is not the best. I will admit that. It is not the best, okay? I am trying, genuinely. Oh, and let's see, March was a pretty okay month. I say pretty okay, I read 4 books. That's sad. Anywho, and I've got some fun stories to tell you along the way, so it'll be a good time. If you hear somebody mowing, and I really hope that you don't, I am sorry in advance. That's why I got the mic. I really hope that you don't hear the mowing because of the mic. I hope it helps. But starting with March, my colors were teal and orange, and I thought it looked really cute. And then I have my reading spread. Obviously, I didn't read a whole lot, and just 4 reviews that I did. I will say I read some good things in March, though. Even though I didn't read too much, I read some good things. So, starting with this bad boy right here. I read City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. And I gave this one 4 stars. Honestly, I'm just happy that I'm finally finished with this series and this storyline. And could I tell you anything that happened in here? No, I could not. I tried to write my review for this book at the end of the month, which seemed to be a pattern sometimes, and I couldn't do it. I could not tell you what was in here. I know they introduced the car stairs, I think, and there were some characters from Clockwork Princess, but I did not read Clockwork Princess before I read that. I made that mistake. You need to read Clockwork Princess first and then read this one. And oh my gosh, yeah, I don't remember what happened. I have no clue. My review says I literally don't remember what happened. Not a chance. So it's here. I'm done. Next up, I read The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I loved it. It was 3 stars for me. I loved the concept, and I have gone and read, so I read this and then I went and watched the movie Chaos Walking, because this is the Chaos Walking series. Totally worth it. Tom Holland did a great job. They did a really great job of adapting the noise, because in this one we follow, oh my gosh, Todd, I think is his name, and he's in Prentice Town, and all the men can be heard and they can hear each other's thoughts, and they call it the noise. And how they did this in the movie was just super clever. And then he ends up running into a girl, and he can't hear the girl's noise. He can't understand why the girl doesn't have noise, because even this dog that he has noise. So he doesn't understand. And they go on this whole adventure running away from Prentice Town and the men that live there, because they are evil, to say the least. And it is super interesting and super cool. And I definitely recommend the book and the movie, because both were very much enjoyable. This is definitely, Patrick Ness is the author for if you have like a teenage son and you want to help them get into reading. Patrick Ness is the way to go. That's all I'm saying. And then there's a movie to watch afterwards. So like, pretty good in my opinion. The next book I gave 4 stars to, and it is The Dawn of Yang Chen by FCE. And I'm going to warn you right now, I'm making an Avatar reading vlog. Okay, I don't want to say too much, but this is the Airbender Avatar before Aang, and Yang Chen is honestly amazing. She is obviously the light, responsible airbender avatar she is supposed to be. She's like peace with the world, and everything's amazing, and everything that Aang wishes he was. But also, if things don't go that way, and things have gone south, and they're not working in the way of the airbenders, where everything is peaceful negotiations and everybody gets what they want, she blackmails people. You heard it here first, folks. This is a blackmailer. Oh my god, it's so amazing. She's like, oh, we're not going to sign these treaties and be all peaceful with our negotiations and be pretty good with everything that we do. Oh, okay, so here's everything I have on you, because I've been investigating you for months. And it's honestly iconic and amazing, and I love her so much. There's a second one coming out in September, and I cannot wait for it. Like, I'm so excited. The 4th and final book that I read in the month of March was Mannix by Grace McGinty. Let me tell you, this was so good. and I loved it so much for certain aspects. It is a dark monster erotica romance. Just heads up, there's lots of smut in here. Lots, like an excessive amount, which, whatever. The storyline, though, was great. We're following Naja and her finding out that she is part Manix and that she is an Omega female, because there's different levels and everybody can tell who's who. And she has like this super ability, which is super weird, where she can her how do I explain this? It made me laugh. It's weird. Okay, just hear me out. Okay. I didn't like it for this concept. I liked it for the polyamory concept. But an Omega female of the Manix, because they're like some other shifter creature that Grace McGinty has created. The female, if there's a female Omega and a male Omega, they can have sex. And the male Omega can take the female's eggs and get pregnant with more than one baby at a time. So they'll have like 5 to 10 babies instead of like the one if the Omega gets pregnant. And that's exactly what fucking happens here, okay? Like, it's the whole thing. Manix invented C-sections. Don't ask me. They try to explain stuff. It is so weird. But I loved it so much. So much so that I did not own a copy of this when I first read it. I actually met Grace McGinty in May, and I bought a copy that is signed, okay? I am obsessed with the Grace McGinty world. I am deep delving into it, and this is the most recent one. Don't start with this one. There's certain ones you're supposed to start with, and I didn't know that till after. You have to start with the Hell's Redemption series, so I am currently reading that. But yes, it's weird. Yes, I loved it, and I gave it 3 stars. It gets better. There is actually a storyline. Naja is running away from her uncle, who killed her mother, and he's kind of like a gang leader of Mexico, and these guys are like, or no, he's a cartel, I guess, and the Manix guys are like protecting him because he's a tiger shifter. Like, there's so much to this. And then a lot of sex. Yes, something smells like it's burning. That can't be good. Anywho, we're gonna move on to April. In April, I did my classic green and pink spread that I love so dearly. I read 7 books, as you can tell. I still didn't read that many pages, honestly. Just surprising. I left blank pages because April was the Aurelium readathon, and there was my syllabus. So these were the 2 books that I actually read for my syllabus, and then I just picked book for the other prompts. This is the quest page that I have, and then those are my quest points that I got, and my review pages. Ta-da! And then there's one more on that side. Anywho, go back to the beginning. Alright, so the first book I read in April was Chainsaw Man Volume 2, and I'm just reading this manga because I really, really love the show, and I kind of want to like get ahead of it, if that makes sense. I don't know if I want to go ahead of the storyline in the show or not. We'll see, but I am enjoying the comic just as much as the anime just as much as what am I saying? I am enjoying the manga just as much as I enjoyed the anime. That's the words I was looking for. Throw me off. Why not? Anyways, I gave it 4 stars. That's pretty much what I'm at for these mangas. They're enjoyable, but I also know what's happening because the anime followed the manga very, very closely. Like, it's very similar. So there's like no surprises. Alright, the second book I read was Zeros, and this is by Scott Westerfield, Margot Langman, and Deborah Biancotti. I totally pronounced everything wrong in that, and I apologize. Anywho, this is another book that is very much enjoyable for teenage boys to start reading, but I also had a lot of fun. I gave this one 3 stars. Yeah, that's what I did. So we have a cast of characters who are listed on the back. I will explain a little bit about them, but they have superpowers, and they're very much superpowers work against what their insecurities and disabilities are. It is very cool to see. So, for example, Scam is very nervous. He can't find the words. He stutters to get things out. And his superpower is that he has this voice that talks for him. Crash very much gets overwhelmed and overstimulated, surrounded by technology, so she crashes them. Flicker is blind, and so she uses other people's eyes and goes to other people's heads to see what they're seeing so she can see. Anonymous is very much, if you're not looking directly at him, you don't know that he exists. He's basically invisible to everybody. And Bellwether can focus an energy of a group on one goal. So she's very good in crowds, feeling people's energies, riding the waves of those. And then there is what's the other guy's name? The glorious leader is very much draws all the attention to himself, which is really cool. And those are kind of like the zeros. That's what they're called. And this book follows them all trying to solve a problem that Scam started, and Bellwether is kind of mixed in. So Scam gets into a car and the voice steals a bag of money, and then he tries to go to the bank and deposit the money because he accidentally got a bag of money, and then Bellwether's father comes in and tries to rob the bank, and the voice puts him in a heap of trouble because of it. And it is just so fun. This was so enjoyable. I cannot wait to read the rest of the books in the series. The next book I read was Punk 57 by Penelope, that's not how you say it. Penelope. There we go. Douglas. I love when I film on days that I can't speak. That's great for me. I give this 1 star. Technically, I DNF'd it, but I needed to give it a rating. And I needed to show people how horrible I thought it was. I got 200 pages into this 300-page book. And the main character's love interest. So there is Misha and Ryan. Ryan, perfectly normal teenager. Pretends she's something she's not. Soaks up all the attention. Calls people out on their bullshit, very moody, very much the popular girl at school vibe. Misha, pretending to be somebody else, disguising his identity, stalking Ren, generally having terrible anger management problems, getting mad at Ren, and her going, oh, this is cute, like, I'm into it, forcing her to have sex in his car, forcing her to do a bunch of things, literally going into her house in the middle of the night to see what she's doing, and she's masturbating, so he's like, haha, I'm gonna do this with her. Like, no, this was disgusting. It was inappropriate and unnecessary, and I hated every second of it. Okay, I don't recommend. And I probably will never pick up another Penelope Douglas because this is just god-awful. It was awkward when Edward did it. It's still awkward today. The next book I technically also DNF'd, but I might return to it, is called Shadows by Kristen Proby, sorry. I also met her. Wonderful lady. Has another series that I'd like to check out. This one was a little too much insta-lovey for me, and I wasn't kind of in the mood for that at the time. So I still have the audiobook, and I'll probably return to it eventually. But for now, it is a DNF. But also, it's got ghosts and paranormal aspects, and the main character can see ghosts, and one ghost is trying to warn her about something because there's a serial killer on the loose that nobody knows about yet. So, very cool concept. Love that. The next book that I read is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is my V.E. Schwab year. I'm trying to read all of her stuff. And this one I gave 3 stars to. You'll all probably know the concept already, but let me tell you, this thing is boring. I love V.E. Schwab. I love most of her things. One of my favorite books of the year, which was Vicious, is by her as well. But let me tell you, I'm trying to remember people's names. So there's Addie, there's Luke, I don't remember the other guy's name. Henry. Okay, so Addie's point of view, it's fine. It's boring. She does nothing with her life. She's given this awesome thing where people forget about her the moment they leave the room and stop looking at her, and she does not use it to her advantage. She goes fucking nowhere. And even the cool places that she goes, like, we don't hear about at all. Like, once she figures out how it works, which, by the way, there are several points in this where it's written terribly, because I hate when people are like, Addie won't know this right now, but she will in the next 50 years or whatever. Why don't you show me that? Instead of being like, yeah, in the next 50 years, she'll figure it out. Like, no. Like, why? I hate when things are written that way. So it was written terribly for Addie's stuff. Once Henry was introduced, it redeemed itself a little bit, because I loved Henry. Henry was great. I loved, like, whole concept. Everything about him was amazing. Okay, and I liked Luke because he was kind of an asshole and he just played with Addie the whole time. But Addie, as a main character, fucking sucked. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I got nothing else to say about it. The next book I read was obviously a favorite. I can see my aunt now through the window. I hope you don't hear her mowing. This is one of my favorite books of the year, and it is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I give 5 stars, obviously. I'm a sucker for this universe and this world and everything that is Sarah J. Maas. I am obsessed with her universe at the moment. I reread the last chapter 3 or 4 times after I finished this because I could not believe my eyeballs, and I had to overanalyze every second of it. But up until then, I gotta tell you, hated Tharion's point of view. I do not like Tharion. I understand his place in the first book. It's my only complaint is I don't like reading from his point of view in this book. Like, I understand, like, he has a purpose and he's there for a reason, but why is he now a main character? Like, I don't get it. I love seeing Ruin's point of view, and I love Bryce, and I love Hunt, and I love everybody in this fucking world except for Tharion. I hate him so much. Can't explain it. I also love the plot of this. I love that it's like secretly detective murder mystery novels. Love that for us. But like, Therian is so boring. I hate his point of view. I can't get over how much I hate his point of view. That's why I don't have anything else to say about this. Like, I love it. I hate Therian. Sorry, not sorry. And the seventh and final book I read in April was The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. You've probably seen this everywhere. I didn't know she was a local. She lives in the same city I do because I met her and it was wonderful. And I actually got a bookmark from her. I don't know where I put it. Probably up in my room. I got a bookmark from Lara, the main character of The Bridge Kingdom, and which was awesome. Bridge Kingdom I gave 3 stars to. It is wonderful. I got her other series signed, The Songbird, I think is what it's called. I got that book signed, so I'm very excited to read it. This one was super intriguing and interesting, and I wish we got more world building. Instead, we got like, you can't see the world basically, and that was kind of like, So I hope that in the future books we get more world building because most of it was just plotting how to destroy the Bridge Kingdom and deciding like, oh, should I have sex with my new husband or not? Like, I don't know. It was weird. But like the universe was cool, and I hope she does more world building on it. I lost my little thingamabob. I didn't finish my Aurelium stuff in April, so it like bleeds over into May and June, just FYI. That's why I didn't talk about which book was which, because I didn't do it properly. I love the colors I chose for May. They are so fucking cute. I can't get over them. Like, look at that. Isn't that adorable? I did good. I read 10 books in May. Okay? It was a super good month. I had lots of reading on there. Look at that. Beautiful. My review pages are all filled out. And then here is, so I went to this book signing and I met all the authors that I pre-ordered from. I bought some books from some other authors that I got signed. And then everybody who I went and talked to, I asked them to sign my reading journal. So I have their signatures in my reading journal. So there's Reese Rivers, Grace McGinty, Dr. Rebecca Sharp. This one, I cannot remember. Who is this? D. I don't recall. Kinsley, Janie Diamond, Kristen Proby. And then there's stickers on here. This one is Dr. Rebecca Sharp. Read more, Doctor's Orders. That one's funny. I read Smut One-Handed. That's Grace McGinty. The Magic of Romance, Grace McGinty. This is Kristen Proby. These ones are Reese Rivers, and these were just like things from the event that I got. Who was it? D. I'm just trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I bought some of her stuff. Oh, that was Danielle L. Jensen. What am I thinking? The way I met her. I didn't go through. So it was a fun event. They're doing it again next year, but in this city rather than an hour and a half away, and I'm very excited about that. What do we start with? Oh, we start with a DNF. So May did not start out great. I DNF'd Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I didn't like the vibes of this. I didn't like the whole concept. I thought it was weird. I thought it was going to be more fantasy related, and I got, I want to say 20% into it before I gave up. I then found out afterwards it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and I hate Rumpelstiltskin, and I hate Rumpelstiltskin retellings. So I was like, oh, that's why the vibe was off for me, because I genuinely did not like it. Now we have Clockwork Princess, which I gave 5 stars to. Did I? Yes, I did. This was amazing. It made me cry. I can't tell you anything about it because I don't want to. It would hurt my soul too much to talk about. And now I think I need to reread City of Heavenly Fire for it to make more sense. Honestly, I've got to reread this whole trilogy and then read City of Heavenly Fire, and then everything will click in my brain, probably. I hope so. Oh, no, I gave Clockwork Princess 4 stars. Sorry. I was like, why does this look funky? It's 4 stars. I also then read Siege and Storm by Leah Bardugo and gave this one 4 stars. The first half of this book was amazing. There's like hunting for conductors, or is that what they're called? I don't recall what it's called. The thing that she wears to make her magic better. Anyways, the first half, amazing. They're hunting like a sea dragon, and it's so cool. The second half, fucking nothing happens. It's boring. So I gave it 4 stars for the first half because it was really good, and I thought this was going to be a 5-star read. Second half, what the fuck was that? Boring. This is just a series of 4-star books. I read The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Gave it 4 stars. Stories, some of them were really good. So let's talk about, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different short stories in here. The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, amazing. The Assassin and the Healer, eh. The Assassin in the Desert, amazing. The Assassin in the Underworld, eh. And the Assassin in the Empire, eh. So I liked like 2 out of 5 of them a lot. I think the Underworld one I liked a little bit more than the other ones, but like overall decent, not bad. I don't feel like it added anything. I feel like I read this in the wrong order. Definitely should have read this right after I read Throne of Glass. I feel like it's better inserted there than when I read it, which is after the third book, which is The Romantic Way. And I don't understand because I didn't feel anything with Sam. Am I a cold-hearted person? Perhaps. Next up, number 5. I gave 4 stars to this one, and it is A Vow of Lust and Fury by LP Lovell. Okay, fun story. LP was supposed to be at the signing, but her flight was canceled because we had a bunch of flights in our country canceled that weekend, so she got stuck. So she was coming the day after to a Starbucks to meet people, and I live an hour and a half away from there, and I couldn't. So I asked my brother to go pick it up for me because I didn't want her to spend money mailing it to me, and my brother lived right there, so I was like, why not? And so he went there to go pick up my books. This is one of 2 that I ordered. She went. This is so funny. I love her for this. Okay, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard. She apparently looked at my brother and went, "Oh, we need to get you out of here as soon as possible because your sister sent you here to pick up her smut books and we don't want to embarrass you." And gave him my stuff. And there was a bunch of people there apparently. So if you were there and you saw that, oh, this is great. Thank you so much for embarrassing my brother. I love that for you. I love that for me. It was honestly iconic. So I got my books, obviously, and she did sign these. She didn't sign my bullet journal because I wasn't there, obviously, but she says, "We love Daddy Gio," and it, because this is a mafia romance about a girl. I don't remember her name for the life of me. I want to say Amelia, but it's definitely not. Amelia. It is Amelia. Amelia is trying to run away from her mafia family, but she keeps getting kidnapped and forcibly married to Gio. And there's a whole other stuff behind the scenes that her uncle is plotting for her. And this is a duology. And I read the first book this month and gave it 4 stars because I absolutely loved it. We're into smut now, guys. I don't know if you know this, but I'm becoming a smut romance reader. If you hated me saying that I did not like The Invisible Life of Hattie LaRue, you're going to hate me saying that I did not like this. What a concept. My battery just died and I invested in extra battery so I could keep going. Professional. Anywho, if you hated that I didn't like Addie LaRue, then you're going to hate that I also did not like this. And I'm sorry to say that I gave 3 stars to Book of Night by Holly Black. Yes, I have the pretty edition. No, I will not be selling it. I will be keeping it. I would like to reread this because the magic in this world made no fucking sense to me. I loved the mystery and I hated the fact that the same guy had 4 different names. Him and his shadow. They had 4 different names between them. I didn't know who was who. I didn't know what was real, what was not real. I didn't know how the magic worked at all. And I'm confused. Can I explain what happened in this book? Not a fucking chance. I need to reread it because I genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I feel like it would be very cool and very fun if I actually understood anything at all, but I didn't. So 3 stars. The next book that I read, I gave 3 stars to as well, and that was Frenzy by Grace McGinty. Yes, I read the next one like immediately. Honestly, Mannix and Frenzy only took me like 2 days each to read. Like it was not any time at all. Frenzy was a bit weird because the characters in it changed their personalities as the book went on, and like in a weird way, like they were so headstrong when the story started and so set in their ways and like determined not to change, and then like the minute that they were like, oh, we're going to be in a pack now, everything about them changed, and it was very concerning. I only gave it 3 stars. Again, this one didn't have as much sex as the first one. It had a lot more politics stuff in it because Naja's brother is trying to take over as Alfred General for like all the packs in the area in their small little town, which is basically like, I'm going to be mayor, but I have to fight people for it. So it was still fun though, and I very much enjoyed it. Now we have the only 5-star book from this month, and that is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Oh my gosh, I knew from the first sentence that I was going to be hooked in this book. This was the perfect vibe. This was perfect for summer. This was perfect for me. I loved everything about it. Mostly. I didn't like the love interest. Weird for me to say that. Yeah, Adam, I think is the name. Probably not. I didn't like him. Oh, it was Sam. Sam was his name. I didn't like Sam at all. Percy as a main character, amazing person. Sam and his brother Charlie, not the best. Charlie better than Sam, I will say. but the things that happened and the plot twists and everything, Charlie made an asshole move, but at least he made up for it. Sam, on the other hand, is just generally an asshole and doesn't know how to process his own emotions and probably needs to go to a lot of therapy. This one's going to be a surprise. And I give it 3 stars because I genuinely enjoyed aspects of it, but I'm not going to talk about it much because I have a vlog that I filmed for this book, but it is Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, and yes, I will be reading more, and yes, I'll be making more vlogs, but 3 stars is not bad for me. Not bad at all. And the 10th and final book I read in May was A Vow of Love and Vengeance by LP Level. This was the second book in that duology, and I only give this one 3 stars because I just felt like there was less emotions processing and more action, and I was like, oh, you've lost me a little bit here, which is fine. I still very much enjoyed it, and I love the duology, and I will be reading more of her stuff because I think it was very fun. Next up, we got June. I picked some very aggressive colors for June. Like, look at that. From like the May soft colors to like the June aggressive colors. Like, who am I? Here's my reading. How many books did I read? Sorry, 11. So the best month yet. And I just wrote all of these guys. Like, look at them go. There's more. We're almost there. This is a lot of talking for me. So we're going to start off with a 5-star read, surprisingly. The first book I read in June was The Desolations of Devil's Acre by Ransom Riggs. So let me tell you, I need to reread this entire series because holy shit, it's amazing. I love Jacob. I love Nor. I love everybody. Like, all of the characters in here, yes, there's a huge cast of characters, but all of them are just the best and most amazing things ever. And I love the outcome of this. Everything about it was just, I do have questions about librarians because the Library of Souls are supposed to be librarians, and I guess Jacob is a librarian. And I have several questions about that, but I don't think they'll ever be elaborated on because this is the last book. So fortunately, it's over. I will be rereading the series because it is just amazing, and I love it so much, though, and I highly recommend. Ooh, next I read a 3-star book, and that was Betrayed by Dr. Rebecca Sharp, who I met, obviously. I was mostly done this book before I went and met her, and I bought a couple other books. I pre-ordered some books from her. I'm very excited about it. Betrayed follows, I don't even remember her name. I'm not good with names. I don't know if you've noticed that, but our main character, who is attempted murdered by the mayor of San Francisco. He tries to murder her because they're about to get engaged, and she finds out something bad about him, and that is he is in the human trafficking business. So she finds out he's in this terrible business, and it's a front for, like, he has a front for it, which is antique selling, and she is like, oh shit, I need to get out of here. I need to put evidence against him. I need to get him arrested. But instead he tries to murder her. It doesn't work because her brother has friends who work in Covington security who come and save her life. And then 6 years later, she is still very much feeling guilty and wants to get revenge. So she tries to get revenge, and it's a whole thing. The romance in this, lacking. The smut, very good. The storyline, not my favorite storyline, which is why it's 3 stars. But I did still much enjoy it, and I will read the next one to see how the rest of them are, because you know what, it was good. It was good. It was written very well. What's up next? Another 5-star. This one is going to surprise you guys as much as it surprised me. Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. Oh my god. I hate books where you mess with time. Who am I? Do I like time travel now? No. Do I love this? Yes. Holy shit, this book changed my life. This book was absolutely perfect. I don't even remember anybody's names anymore. So the main character of this, it's kind of written in second person a little bit. She witnesses her son murder somebody and then goes to bed panicky and wakes up the day before the murder happens, and then she does that day over again. It's like, what the fuck, I'm losing my mind. And goes to bed and wakes up the day before that, and then the day before that, and then the day before that, and she just keeps going back and back and back in time, investigating why her son would have murdered this guy and what anybody else has to do with it. And let me tell you, it is so fucking good. Murder mystery amped up to the next level. Rate it. The next book I gave 4 stars to, and that was Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I like aliens. Aliens just living on Earth, living their lives with magic that leaves traces for the evil guys on humans. Cool idea. I did not like the main love interest. Demon, I don't like that his name is Demon. I don't like his personality. He's kind of an asshole. I don't like that the main character liked him. I don't remember her name, but I remember his name was Demon because it was weird. So there's that. 4 stars. I know this is one of Jennifer's earlier works, so I took it with a grain of salt. Up next, though, another 5-star, and that is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This lady never fails to surprise me. I have zero interest in tennis, and I ate this shit up. It was so good. Our main character, Carrie, I don't know why I was looking for her name. The Battle Axe, aka, is a tennis champion, and when somebody goes to break her record, she decides that she's gonna come back and steal it back, basically. Like, fuck you, this is my record. And she's an asshole, and I love her for that. She is the best asshole. 10 out of 10, amazing. Okay, I gotta finish this up because I got people coming over. Alright, next book I gave 4 stars to, and that is Newly Undead in Dark River by Grace McGinty. This one takes place in Canada. They mentioned the city that I live in. Amazing. When they were like, yeah, we're going to a nightclub in Calgary, I was like, have fun with the country bumpkins. That's a terrible idea. Anywho, this one follows, I don't remember her name, main character, who wakes up dead outside of Dark River, literally at the Welcome to Dark River sign, and finds out that she is a vampire in a town full of vampires, and the rest of the vampires help her transition. They don't know who made her into a vampire, but they're considering it murder because she was a human and now she's a vampire. So whoever created her murdered her to do so. They investigate her murder. Also in this book, polyamory, shifters, you know I love that stuff. So I just ate it up. Like, this was great. I love Grace McGinty. Her and I are on the same level. Like, go her. I need to read everything that she's written, honestly. Number 6, DNF. This is Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. I did write a review about why I DNF'd this, because if I didn't read it in one go, start to finish, I was not going to finish it, and I got halfway through and I couldn't finish it. This is terrifying. I think that, yes, awareness needs to be brought for this. I think, yes, it should be in existence. I think, yes, it is a beautiful book that needs to be talked about. Could I get through it? No, because being stolen away from your country by your family, betrayed by them, drugged by them, and married off to a random stranger so that you will continue on your culture and get more into your culture is fucking terrifying. This is like human trafficking. It is the worst kind of thing. Somebody choosing somebody for you to marry and then forcing you drugged to marry somebody at random and leaving you in this country that you did not grow up in. Fucking literally scared shitless. I could not get through it, and I'm sorry. But yeah, you guys should read this. It's a very serious thing. The next one I gave 3 stars to, and that is The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. Also another beautiful book for teenage boys, but also hilarious. This is so funny. They give you little portions of like what is actually happening, but this is about some regular people going to high school wondering when the high school is going to explode because the superpowered teenagers are fighting evil. And the fact that adults don't know anything that's happening, and even the kids are like, why don't the adults see these guys dying and fighting off evil and vampires and shit? Like, what? How come you don't see this? Very funny, very hilarious. I loved every aspect of it. So good. The next 2 books I read on the same day, and they're 2 very different things. First, I did Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, and this was so cute. First of all, Anne Hathaway narrates the audiobook. You need to know that in your life, Kate. I didn't know about it, so I definitely recommend. And second of all, it was literally told in diary format, which was the cutest thing ever. It felt like a teenager was writing it. It was adorable. I've also discovered that Meg Cabot wrote a COVID princess book. She came out of hiding after like 15 years of not writing princess diary books and wrote one for COVID. And I was like, oh my god. So I have to read the whole series now. I have to get to it. It was amazing. The second book I read that day I DNF'd, and that was The Never King by Nikki St. Crow, I think? Nikki St. Crow. And I DNF'd this because this is ruining Peter Pan for me. This was not a good time. It was disgusting. It was manipulative, splat, dark romance that was not fun at all for me. I did not like it. I did not like that it was ruining The Lost Boys and Peter Pan. Garbage. Hated it. DNF. And the 11th and final book that I read in June was Tiger's Quest by Colleen Hewitt. Y'all know this is one of my favorite series of all time. It was 5 stars. I'm not even going to explain myself because I just love this series so much. Like, genuinely. I don't know where the rest of the books are at the moment, but this is one of the best books of all time for me, at least. This is my least favorite book in the series, though, because not a whole lot happens in the first half. So there is that, and then the ending of this one is kind of garbage. But that's because bad things happen, and I hate when bad things happen. So there's that. So those are the books that I read mostly this year. I will be getting physical copies of the rest of Grace McGinty's books. I will be telling you that right now because she's my new favorite author. I'm in deep. Out of all of these books, do I have any favorite books? Let's discuss. Newly Undead and Dark River. That's one of my favorite. Carrie Soto's Back and Wrong Place, Wrong Time. Those are some of my favorites. Every Summer After and House of Sky and Breath and The Dawn of Yangshed. Those are all of my favorite books from this list, and I highly recommend all of them. It was a good time. And out of these books, I will be unhauling Funk 57, Written in the Stars. And I think that's it. I will be getting rid of them because I did not like them. They're garbage. Goodbye. No, Written in the Stars isn't garbage. It's just a horror book without the horror. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was enjoyable. And let me know if you guys have any favorite books from these months or what you think about the books if you have read any of these. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!